podcast today with a well, today is a special day because we are one day less than, not even 12 hours, or nearly 12 hours. We are away from the reveal of the new Battlefield game. The good thing is I'm not alone, actually, it was planned that we are 3 people in the podcast today, but I had some huge internet outage for the last 2 hours, so that unfortunately didn't come together. But I still have my co-pilot here, Mr. Tasty Lemons. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing swell. Evening, Molt.
Well, now that I have my internet again, yay! I'm happy about that, and I hope it stays that way, or at least they're fixing it till tomorrow. If my internet goes down tomorrow when the whole Battlefield thing starts, someone gets murdered at my ISP. Like, you will hear in the news next day, angry German murders a bunch of ISP workers and was screaming, "Where's my Battlefield?" That's what's going to happen.
I can see it.
Yep. So we are close. The Battlefield is around the corner.
Upon us.
Is upon us. And you know what I realized? I just want to jump in that directly. You know what I realized? Battlefield has a lot of amazing music. And they're using that far too not often in the game itself.
Correct. You see that with a lot of new games where they're trying to incorporate their new content in all of their other brands, and you rarely see that amongst EA titles, unfortunately. Which is crazy because they have a expansive amount of titles.
It's just like when we hear like all the Battlefield music, and it's like I understand that it is mostly quiet, but there's actually something which I really enjoy. What you haven't played it, right? Chivalry 2 came out today, finally. It's basically Battlefield in medieval ages. It's fantastic, and what they are doing, they have some epic music, but the music is only playing in the last 2 minutes of a round. Like, it starts to like swell and then becomes more and more dramatic and more epic. But so you have like this epic, oh my god, you won the clock moment, but it also never gets into the way. Yeah, Battlefield is consistent. Dun 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 dun.
It's a recognizable tune, yeah.
I mean, it is. It's like I can hear that tune out of 100. And for everyone who was watching the podcast on YouTube or on, well, not watching, but listening on the Spotify's, if I'm sometimes reacting to a few things and you were like, wait, Lemons didn't say anything, I'm also live streaming. I have a live streaming chat and people are talking in that chat. So I'm trying to mostly focus on our talk here, but I sometimes like to react on things people are mentioning in the chat. So don't you wonder about that. But yeah, the music is great. I wonder what they will do with the music for the next Battlefield.
It depends. It's before Battlefield 1, the meme was it was progressively getting more and more bass. Because from the Battlefield, the original Battlefield soundtrack from BF3 to BF4, it just slammed more bass on it. It's kind of becoming a bit of a meme.
Yeah, it definitely became more and more like techno, electronic, synthesized. And it's like, it's kind of weird whenever we are talking about now, right, or the future. It's like, yeah, it's all electronic and techno. I was like, why? What? It's kind of weird. I find that weird.
Correct. And how that's kind of died out the past few years. It'll be funny if games still continue that or not.
I think they will go back to the tech stuff, like to the electronic music, because we are going back basically into the present.
Right.
So yeah, I could see that. But speaking about the present, so there has been a few leaks regarding the new Battlefield. Like as always, I don't want to go too much into the leaks because I I have to be honest. I also basically saw the leaks without getting asked if I want to see the leaks. It's a little bit like unsolicited dick pics. Nobody's
Right.
asking for it, but you are getting it anyways, and you're not happy about it.
Correct.
And it's the
In my
same.
defense, I thought you wanted those pictures.
It's just like you were opening a website, or you were seeing just a tweet popping up because somebody liked something or retweeted something, and then you see like all those Battlefield leaks, and you were like, dude, I never asked for this. Why? I know everyone is hyped for Battlefield, but man, let me see the announcement at the announcement.
Right.
I'm actually kind of, this is why I don't repost or show those leaks. I find that really annoying.
Correct. I generally enjoy a good surprise, but we've got a culture nowadays that's just consumer based. That wants to see everything immediately.
It's horrible. It's, so, but so I said this a few days ago, and I found that super interesting. There were some new screenshots from the game itself, and I was actually making the point, like, I wonder if those screenshots were leaked by EA itself. And now people will say, "Whoa, how do you make that assumption?" So the weird part about those screenshots is I don't even have to describe what it shows, but it showed not too much from the game. Like it showed the most uninteresting things, like loading screens or something like that. And then the screens itself were like super pixelated, as if somebody has took a screenshot on 800 by 700 pixels. I was
Right.
like, and then try to blow it up on full HD. I was like, what? No, nobody does that. Like, if you were taking screenshots, even if you were just using the print button on your keyboard, it's like you were getting like full HD beautiful screenshots nowadays. So, and then the names of the people which were playing in the squads, they were all like marketing perfect. Like, what was it? Floppy ragdoll, or kiwi and something like that. Like completely PR sanctioned
Yeah.
names. And it's like, I wonder. But again, this is just me making up things. I don't know if that's really the case or not. But yeah, they leaked some screenshots. Oh god. Speaking about leaks, so I normally don't talk about leaks, right? I don't want to talk about this, but we will talk about this one because it was first leaked, then it got basically confirmed, and now everyone is pretending as if this never happened. So for everyone who is not interested in any leaks, where you really were on a complete blackout, uh, just mute me here for like 2 minutes or so, and let me tell you the story. Have you heard what the new Battlefield games will be named?
Will be named
Yeah, what the new Battlefield name will be apparently.
the 2142, or I'm sorry, the
Yes,
2042. Right? That's a reflex.
2042. Yeah,
Right.
nice
Right.
though, nice.
Yeah. Right.
So that was the leak like a few days ago. Like the new Battlefield will be named 2042, and everyone was like, "Yeah, well, it's a leak. Like we don't even know if it is true. It could be somebody is making up shit." And then I kid you not, today, Twitch of all the places has they're doing surveys sometimes. Like they are doing surveys all around for the people, and they want to know stuff. And one of the surveys today, I kid you not, was, "Hey, Have you heard of those first-person shooters? Call of Duty Warzone, PUBG, Rainbow Six Siege, Battlefield 2042. I was like, what? It's like, oh man, Twitch. Somebody sent the surveys out a little bit too early, apparently. And they have put in the new Battlefield name. And it's like, oh no. Why, Twitch? Why? We can be lucky that it is not Microsoft this time who has leaked something.
For once. Yeah.
For once. Let's not get used to it. Hey, Sakura, welcome in. So what's your take on the name? Do you have any take?
My takes are gone. They already went full meme from 3-4 hardline 1-5. Couldn't get any worse. I was kind of hoping for a pure reboot, just fresh Battlefield. That way we can get back to a normal naming nomenclature, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Isn't it kind of funny when you just said that, and I find that so hilarious, that once a company gives up on the numbers and they're just putting together words, I think not a single company ever got back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, they're just living in this world of 5, 3, 10, 4, 21, blazing. I was like, what? It's like, So you basically have no take on the name. You would have liked, though, when it would just be called Battlefield.
I would, yeah, but I'm not invested either way, really. It's a name. As long as it's not Battlefield Hardline 2, I'm fine.
The biggest and best comeback in a century. What was it called with the Marvel movie? The biggest crossover ever or something?
Oh, Infinity War?
Yeah. Oh boy.
I already had Infinity Warfare. I'm fine with that.
Oh gosh.
Straight from that monstrosity.
Oh gosh. Hey, you could say that Infinity Warfare was basically the hardline of Call of Duty. Like, it was actually a good game,
God, yeah.
but people just hated it. Outright hated it. So this brings us to another interesting point where I also want to get your opinion on. Now that we have probably the name with 2042, that is... No, let me ask you it the other way. Is that too much future for you? Or could have been there more future?
No, I think that's a reasonable amount because you can basically take modern day and skew things. So no one can say that, oh, this is not realistic because this doesn't exist right now. But because they don't know 20 years in the future. But at the same time, it could come back and bite them if they do go a little too far into it and make this kind of more like a 2142 sequel or a prequel. Then it's going to get a little weird if they get a little too sci-fi with it.
They did. Yeah, sorry, continue.
No problem. Because especially if they're trying to make this like a successor to Battlefield 4, to where we saw the... Oh, shoot, what was that last DLC? Final Stand, right?
The
Maybe?
Final
Probably.
Stand,
Possibly.
Last Stand, Final Stand?
Yeah, to where they started hinting some of that 2142 technology.
That's what I wanted to mention. Yeah.
Yeah, that could be... it could be all over the place.
I mean... I like it to get a little bit future-esque. Like, I mean, I don't mind. I find that here's the thing. Like, I know that people are like love to live in the past. I love to live in the future, and I find it interesting because it gives also, I think, developers just a greater variety of what they can do, because you don't know if this exists in 40 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they actually did something, and this is, I think, why I still applaud DICE for Battlefield 1. Like, most people know shit about World War One. Let's face it. Like, even the World War fans are like always about World War Two, and they had so many stuff in Battlefield 1 which technically never existed, which was completely sci-fi, but nobody really knew because, well, nobody knows about World War One, and they pulled that off marvelously. Marvelously, blah, words.
Uh, Pun.
Not intended. But, this is why I like when they're going future a bit.
Correct. It was just I don't think they could lean too much as far as or as long as EA has Apex and potentially Titanfall, but if we ever see that again, who knows? As long as they have those titles, I don't think we're gonna see a fully realistic shooter from EA.
Set in the future,
yeah.
Yeah.
Near future is a different story, but like full on future would be rather surprising.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing: they did some if like you have some issues with watching us, but what we did in the last few weeks and even months, we love to watch the Jonathan Ferguson, who is on GameSpot. So if you were like, who the hell is Jonathan Ferguson? If you have never heard of him, he is a weapons expert, or to be precise, he is the curator in the British Museum, and he is, what is his title? He has like a completely crazy title. He is the keeper of firearms and artilleries at the Royal Museum, and it's like, damn, that's a title. And he is like taking a look at like weapons and video games, and he has been actually taking a look at a lot of Battlefield games. And this Monday actually, he was looking at Bad Company 2. And the really interesting part here is that a lot of Battlefield games, like Battlefield 4, Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, they have actually a lot of futuristic weapons which don't exist in reality. Because they imagine something which might be in development, which might is coming to the battlefields of the future, but in reality it never happened. So it seems like they have like a lot more open opportunities to do something in the future. That's my point. I love future, or close future. So tomorrow is the announcement. How long do you think will this whole thing last? And how much gameplay do we see?
It seems like they are going to do some sort of mini event. So as far as total time we get, it's going to last quite a while. But gameplay wise, I don't think we're going to get wholly too much. I think it's more so going to be a traditional trailer.
Yeah.
But that's just because I like to keep a low bar as far as what I expect from anything out of them. That way I'm pleasantly surprised.
Too true. Too true. All right, so you don't think we will see too much?
I don't think if we see gameplay, it's going to be that cheesy scripted gameplay. The shining example I can think of off the top of my head is when we first saw Sea of Thieves gameplay.
I mean, Battlefield 5? There was also like everything they showed in the Battlefield 5 in the first trailer was scripted, and most of the stuff also never came to the game at all.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to be able to drag my teammates. We'll get that one day, I'm sure.
Yeah. At least you can shoot grenades out of the air. I think that's something they implemented. It barely happens, but I think you can actually do it. So there were rumors, or there was apparently like, we don't know if it is true, another leak, that the trailer is apparently like 5 minutes long. They're showcasing.
That'd be good.
So like 3 minutes of CGI or 2 minutes of CGI and then 3 minutes of gameplay or something. Who knows? But what I would love to see is, you know what I don't even know if they did it with Battlefield 5. I think they did it with Battlefield 5 at the EA Play, where they then had just some influencers and Snoop Dogg and whatnot coming together and playing the game for like a round or so. I would love to see that again.
I do love that. It's influencers and Snoop Dogg. And I think that is a good mix, because you don't get just that pure crowd of hardcore, whatever the game it is, gamers, like I said, the professional crowd.
Yeah,
that's all I do. Getting a good mix of people who don't experience at a professional level, but just a casual level, I think is really refreshing.
On a very casual level for Snoop Dogg.
Oh yeah, I don't think he got a single kill that year.
I think he was high. Well, when is he not?
Yeah,
it's like if he could have had, he would have probably like had a joint right next to his computer, and he was also playing.
That should be it. that should be the trailer. It's just Snoop Dogg blazed out of his mind, just trying to play.
Yes, please. And he was also playing with a controller, so he was like double handicapped, so to speak. Oh god, I want to see that now. Like, it just opens with a trailer, nobody knows what it is, and it's Snoop Dogg just sitting there playing some sky-high Battlefield, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a shit, man. I just killed 30 people with one bullet. Oh, I love this new Battlefield. And that's it. That's a trailer.
Fantastic.
And they're like, find more out about the new Battlefield at EA Play in July. Oh, the internet would be
I'm not sure about, I'm not sure what that game's about, but I need to know more. I'm intrigued.
I wanna see that now. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh my god, can you imagine like Snoop Dogg, like just stoned, doing the voice acting for the Battlefield? They have him as an announcer. Oh man, there was a double. No, wait, I think there was a quadruple kill. Oh man, they should do that. They should have him as an announcer. That would be fantastic. Dota 2 actually did that. If people have never played Dota 2, you can have not Snoop Dogg, but you can have different announcer packs, and they actually have an announcer pack from Rick and Morty. It's fantastic. Just Rick and Morty announcer pack, and wow, it's fantastic. So
just living the meme.
Absolutely living the meme. But so let me see something very quickly here, because for whatever reason, no, this should be. Let me check something super quickly. No, okay, cool. Just had to check something. The thing. Yeah, to check something. Is this Chivalry 2? No, it's not. Where were we? Oh yeah, Snoop Dogg talking about Battlefield. Still exciting. So, enlighten me here, Lemons. You as the expert of video games here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we all know you have a long-standing relationship with video game companies, and you are very good connected to like game developers around the world. Tell me more about the announcement time of the new Battlefield. 10
Oh,
a.m.
that's rough.
East Coast.
Yeah,
What
that's
is
yeah,
that?
that's shafting a huge chunk of their crowd, and it's kind of interesting. I don't understand it. Um, Historically, Tuesday's been like the Battlefield meme. A lot of their games, for whatever reason, have been heavily updated on Tuesdays. A lot of their past content is dropped on Tuesdays for whatever possible reason. But even on days off of that, it hasn't dropped it the butt crack of dawn, you know. So it's bad enough for East Coasters, but for anyone in the West Coast, no one's going to catch it.
That's 7
So
a.m.
kind of odd.
That's
Yeah,
7 a.m. on a
it's a
Tuesday.
bewildering decision.
It's like, wow. Like, even I understand, if I remember the numbers correctly, Battlefield was always like a European game. Like, apparently the community or the crowd in Europe was bigger than in the US. So it makes more sense when you think about that. But
Yeah.
still, that is 4 p.m. in the middle of a day. Like, what are you expecting all the people doing at 4 p.m. in Central Europe or in the UK, 3 p.m.? Like, they're working or they have school. Like, I don't. Weird. Super weird. I just try
I
to
would love
follow.
to hear the logic behind it, but I have no idea.
Yeah, I would really love to hear about that, especially because, and this is again interesting, is they have an EA Play coming up, but that is in July. EA decided that they don't want to play with all the other companies at E3, and they're just having their own EA Play thing in July. It's like, so that is like super far off. And the question is just, what's going on there? I hope that they are not just giving us a little teaser and then tell us, yeah, come back in July. Oh, please don't do that. Oh,
I don't think they will, but that would be rather horrific. Yeah,
so
I'd
this
say the
is
very least.
this is my own theory, and I said it before. Like, one of the reasons why I might think that they announced it so early is because they have done something similar with Apex Legends, where they announced the game like super early. I think it was also like 10 or 11 a.m. East Coast time on a Tuesday? Monday? Monday or Tuesday, like one of the two. And they were announcing that, and then they were like, all right, folks, game is coming up in 4 hours for everyone. And now you can watch some influencers playing this game till the servers are coming up and you can play it yourself. They've done that for Apex Legends. Now, of course, they would not shadow drop the new Battlefield. That's not gonna happen. It's not a free-to-play
Wouldn't that be
game.
fantastic?
No, no, that's not gonna happen. But maybe they are dropping like an alpha or beta, maybe something like that. I don't know. I'm just like talking about what's coming through my mind. I don't know. Quick note for all the people who are watching on stream right now. I'm truly sorry I'm dropping some frames. We had some huge internet outage earlier. I couldn't even go online for like 2 hours. I'm super sorry if you have some minor dropped frames here and there, some minor lags. Truly sorry. But you will also be able to see the complete podcast when we are done on YouTube without any lags, because I'm recording it locally, and also of course on Spotify. So sorry again if you were affected by it. It sucks. I hope we don't have the problem tomorrow. Oh boy. Back to the topic. So You have seen some of the leaks, unfortunately.
Perhaps.
Was there
But yes, I've seen the
anything
book.
in particular which made you like excited? Like you don't have to like go into details, like for people who don't want to get spoiled. But
It takes a lot to excite me for Battlefield, and it needs to be some gritty details. So for me, there's nothing that I've seen from the league or potential leaks that I would say would be exciting. It looks pretty standard.
wait. You're not getting excited over loading screens?
Right? Um,
What?
correct. We've kind of breathed over this before, but some of the stuff I need to see is more mechanical based. So there's no way, unless someone's going to leak like a 5-minute video, that I'm going to be able to see anything substance.
Oh my god. So as you know, I've been starting to play some more Battlefield. I know you never stop playing Battlefield now and then, but I
Never.
basically had a break of like a year at least of not playing Battlefield, right? And well, I tried Battlefield 4 and I came to the conclusion that the game is not for me. Sorry. I know I will now be hated by everyone. So I did go to Battlefield 1. Man, the things you are remembering regarding Battlefield. And
Oh
the
yeah.
things where you were just like, oh right, I remember this. This was bullshit. I I came to learn to hate horses again.
Oh God, yeah. They were horrific. They're still not to this day balanced.
They like if you have an MG, or sorry, an LMG to be more precise. Horses are doable. Like you can get them under control, but you know what the worst thing is? Like forget horses. They're just pet dogs at this point. You know what really gets my blood boiling? Freaking artillery trucks. What are those things? I,
Yeah, I never had too much an issue with those. I would just camp the hell out of the heavy tank.
like it seems like everyone is just like they are now servers, I kid you not, where artillery tracks are deactivated. Outright deactivated. Or if you were using one, you were getting banned. Like
That's hilarious.
people started to hate that thing. That's I can understand why, because people who are really good at it, they know how to hide, they know how to shoot people, and how to make it so that you cannot reach them.
Right.
And it's like, oh. So artillery trucks is really what makes my blood boil. It's like atrocious. What was for you like the worst Battlefield thing? Do you have something in mind?
Oh man.
Of,
It
of
might be oh what's that called? But recency bias, something like that. But I played Battlefield 4 in the helicopters. Damn near gave me an aneurysm. Probably because the only people who play Battlefield 4 nowadays are some
yeah,
sweaty Battlefield
tryhards.
bastards,
Yeah.
which is fair. But and I think with the new Battlefield, I think a lot of the people who are misremembering the older Battlefields and saying, "Man, I can't wait to play in helicopters again." They're probably going to be the same group of people that also get back on the forums during like day one and say helicopters are OP. If I had to guess, um, because they don't have a large enough skill curve to warrant how good they are.
Yeah. I
Because there are very okay players who can just run the table in a helicopter.
I saw some bullshit where I played Battlefield 4 and like there was a dude in the helicopter who was just massacring everyone, right? And I was the guy who was like, "Hi, I have a Stinger missile. Haha, I'm your worst nightmare." No, he didn't even care for me. Like, even when I had a Stinger missile, he had so many ways to just evade that thing, and it's like, what? Come on, man.
Correct. You can easily curve it into anything in front of you.
And then he was like flying so low over the ground. Like, he was also like
Yeah.
sometimes hitting the ground and some other areas. He was fine. He was fine. I was like, what?
Yeah, the only thing you can do is hit them with a static rocket.
Yeah. And that's tough enough. It's like, oh, I can see why helicopters will be a pain. So you are a little bit afraid of the new helicopters in the new Battlefield games?
A little bit, yeah. Well, we'll see about that. But I think some of the bigger problems I also saw was back in like Battlefield 1, but stuff we won't see in this one, like bayonets and horses. I don't think we're going to be seeing.
Nope.
Been wrong before, but we'll see.
We will not see horses. No, what we might see, which was like, again, rumors, leaks a little bit, which might be something similar to horses, will be robots. You know those,
Robot horses.
well, not robot horses, but you know those, what are they called? The
The dogs, yeah.
Boston
From
Dynamics.
the Boston
Yeah,
Dynamics Stadium.
yeah, exactly. That we will might see them in the game. Oh my god. I'm like, I'm kind of sweating thinking about it. You've seen those Boston Dynamics videos, right?
Correct, and and that's why it's the near future thing kind of works because for right now they're not really. There's no applicable reason to use those in combat. In
Yeah.
20 years, they might be.
Which is a kind of frightening prospect, but that is a different topic.
A little bit.
Oh yeah, robot hounds, great. We are metal gearing in here. Also interesting, like one point I definitely want to point out. I know it's a bit of a leak, so again, for everyone who doesn't want to hear any leaks at all, please don't listen to this. But this is more like an actual gameplay mechanic. So on one of the screenshots, there was apparently somebody who was using a tank. And if I saw this correctly, there was like a driver, a gunner, and a spotter. So it's not just one dude who can drive a tank, but now it seems like you need like multiple people again, like in Battlefield 1, to handle a tank. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that depends on a very multitude of things. I don't think the way that they balance tanks in Battlefield 1 is good. I think the tanks in Battlefield 1 could possibly the most overpowered tanks in any Battlefield.
Yeah.
What you were mentioning with the artillery trucks, where they can just sit from miles back to where they really can't be touched and just lob shells all day, because you get the auto repairs, auto load. And what I just did in the heavy tank, I mean, you just park your butt on a flag, and your splash damage is stupid as long as no one gets right up on you and you don't get completely overwhelmed. You're just gonna kill everybody. So even though you technically needed several people in some of the bigger tanks to fully operate it, it didn't really matter too much. So it really depends on how they
Wouldn't
end up
wouldn't
balancing everything else.
wouldn't it help when, let's say, yeah, you can technically operate the tank alone, but you have to jump in between those, like physically jump between those stations in the tank.
Oh yeah, that would be a pain, and that'll be another interesting thing to see if they keep. I liked it, but I think there were some people complaining about it. But it's the animations that they introduced in Battlefield 1 for vehicles, to where you just don't magically teleport into a vehicle and teleport out. You
Yeah.
have this sort of animation to where you climb in, you climb out, switch seats, etc. I like that, and I think that's kind of a good way to balance it. There is some shenanigans you can pull in the older battlefields with being in a vehicle. Um, that makes it nice that they have that animation. It goes both ways because sometimes it infuriates me, but in the long run, I think it's a good idea. But dice being dice, sometimes they want to change too much. Um, I'd be curious to see if they keep that.
I mean, I think so. I, like for balance reasons, it might seem to
Right.
help. So
Balance and common sense, and it looks nice too.
yeah, yeah. Nothing is worse than teleporting in and out of a vehicle, and you're like, "What the heck happened? Just ghosts."
Right.
Um,
Goddamn good.
there was another thing about Battlefield One which just came back to my mind. What was it? Damn it! I just had it right in front of me. Something tank and balance related.
The tanks.
Oh yeah, what do you think about the idea of repairing yourself?
Oh, I don't mind it. I like the idea more. It depends what you mean by repairing yourself. I like the idea more of hopping out and having to physically repair. And to have a perk system where you can partially repair, maybe, sort of like what they have in Battlefield 5 right now, but remove that sort of what did they call that whole system with the health and with the tank health, to where like you don't get all of your health back if you're injured to a certain point. Attrition.
Ah,
There we go. Attrition.
I don't know anymore. Yeah,
The
but yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they called it the attrition system, and to get rid of that for vehicles and to basically make it so if you get hit with damage, if you have a certain perk, you can pop that normal, you heal 20 or 30% and repair your major components and carry on. Otherwise, you have to hop out of your tank physically and repair by hand, kind of like in the older battlefields. Um, and then again, the rest of it depends on how they balance the tank armor and what other weapons can do to that tank. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, that could be a balancing issue. If they make the armor too weak, they might want to let you go ahead and repair yourself because it's easier than balancing other stuff. I don't know.
All right, fair point. I mean, you are more the tank driver. I'm more the foot soldier. So
I don't mind tanking being complicated. I don't want to just be able to sit in my tank all day, auto repair, and not have to move. I'm fine with it being complicated.
apparently the vehicles are not like magically teleporting in anymore, but they're actually like back to be physically on the battlefield. Apparently, we don't know if that is true.
Right.
That should be very interesting because that gives everyone a chance to get into a vehicle, but that also gives everyone the chance to get into the vehicle. So that also means me. And oh my god, I still remember this from the very old battlefields, like Battlefield 2 or something like that, where people were literally taking like jets, tanks, and whatnot just to travel from A to B faster because they didn't get a
Yeah.
jeep and they were like, nah dude, I'm not walking this, I'm just taking this jet here we desperately need, and I would just use that to travel from A to B. Suck it, nerds. And
Yeah,
it's
you see
like,
it a lot
whoa.
less, but yeah, in Battlefield 3 or 4, it'd be the same thing. You would see someone just take any one of the vehicles they get their hands on just to get from A to B and just get to ditch it. It's amazing.
Well, great. Well, shoot, that
We
should be.
didn't need that.
Oh, question. Do
Yeah.
you would you like to see a little bit more sea warfare?
Oh, I would love that. I've been wanting them to do that. The problem was, I think their best avenue to do that in any game would have been Battlefield 5. I think that would have been entertaining as hell to have some of those older World War II mass naval combat scenarios, but I'm not too sure how appealing that would be with more some of the more high tech stuff. Depends on how they engage that. Um, because technically, and again, it depends on how realistic you get. Technically, nowadays, sea warfare is not what it really used to be. It's miles out before you see each other. It's all aircraft now.
Yeah.
Back in World War II, it's a little different. It just started doing that. Um, so it really depends. I think on Battlefield 1, we had some of the ships and some of those naval combat scenarios,
Mm-hmm.
and it was pretty entertaining, but they never really leaned too heavy into it. Um,
It was a sideshow.
Battlefield, yeah. So like in Battlefield 4, we had the air supremacy, I think they called it. That was entertaining. I'm a terrible pilot, awful, and I still had fun playing those modes when they were popular because very quickly it became only the people who were just disgustingly good pilots were playing that, and then you just get absolute wash. But when it first came out, a lot of people were playing it. It's nice because you have just a ton of people playing it, so you find your skill level. It's fine.
Yeah.
So maybe they continue that limited mode. I like the limited mode idea, but I hate it when they used it for actual core modes. When you're doing like random modes that almost no one ever plays, that's fine. But like when you're doing it with Rush, different story.
Yeah. Speaking of modes, how many modes do you think should there be there at release at least?
Um,
Like a number would be
as
fine.
noted, a number would be difficult because it depends. They're probably going to make up a new mode just because they like putting a flashy new title. Oh, look, we made something.
And then
Um,
everyone just plays Conquest anyways. I get it.
correct.
No,
But yeah, I
continue.
mean, yeah, I hope to have like their conquest, their rush, that the operations mode, the newer one, and TDM, and then probably like a smaller sort of domination's been real hot lately. Some sort of smaller confined mode. So probably yeah, five or six maybe, and then if you just rotate some limited time modes in between that, I think they would have the player base to fill that if the game doesn't flop. Because I mean, if you look at if they could match at all what Battlefield One had for the first 6 months, I think they have no problem filling the lobbies for about five or six different game modes.
Yeah, I've seen kind of interesting note here. I have seen some streamers going back into Star Wars Battlefront 2 also.
Yeah,
And wow, that is kind of a shit show because so what they did, if you've never seen Star Wars Battlefront 2, is they have three different timelines. Like they have
right.
like what is it called? The Age of the Republic, the Age of Rebellion, which is episode 3 to 6, right? And then they have episodes 7 to 9. And yeah, that was basically like, hey, we have those three timelines, and the timelines cannot play together. It's completely crazy. When you choose to play the Age of Republic, you can only play the Age of Republic gameplay mode and the modes they have. So they
Yeah,
basically split it up, their community inside the game. They fragmented them depending on the timeline they are playing on. I was like, wow, that's ooh,
yeah,
crazy.
that's a horrible way to do it. Thankfully, I don't think they would. I think they treat Battlefront a little different.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I mean there would not be timelines here, but it's just like
correct.
how many game modes are good for a new Battlefield?
Yeah,
That's the question.
and I think Dice has usually done a pretty good job at that. Um, from what I recall, the only Battlefield that was saturated with game modes was probably Battlefield 4, which is unfortunate because a lot of the game modes they came out with were fun, but there's just too many of them. They still had all the normals, Conquest, Rush, but then they had smaller variants. Then they had Team Deathmatch. They had Gun Game. They had Capture the Flag. all sorts of things, and there was just no way to find a lobby for a lot of this content, even for a game as popular as Battlefield 4.
Yep. We will see about that. So let's, well, game modes. We will see what they get. What I really loved. I know maybe we get something similar. So in Star Wars Battlefront, they have like a really crazy mode. Love that one. It's, what is it called? You have to survive a night on this planet with the little fur teddy bears. I always forget their names. What are the furry teddy bear names in Star Wars from
The
episode?
name's eluding me. I think it
Yeah,
was the planet. I think was Indoor, but I don't remember
yeah.
the
The
names of those things.
So you have to survive a night on Endor, and I always say Ewoks, but they're not. Are they Ewoks? I think they are Ewoks.
I think they are actually. I think that was it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
See, I'm horrible with names always. However, so the idea is you are in the middle of the night. It's pitch black. You can see jack shit, and they are like stormtroopers around you, players. And the only thing which gives you a little bit of light is your flashlight on your blaster, but you don't have that an infinite amount of time. So you have to like use the energy you have, and also it makes you easily visible because you're not alone out there. You also have the Ewoks, other players, which are trying to murder you. They are, of
It's kind
course,
of terrifying.
completely like weapons wise. They have sticks and spears and stones, but you can't see shit at night. So you only hear the Evox, and you only hear your comrades getting murdered, and then they are coming back at Evox to also try to murder you. It's like one of those games where I'm like, dude, this is actually really fun, and I didn't expect that game mode.
Yeah,
I I wonder if they are trying something similar with the new Battlefield. I maybe they
yeah
have something
that'll be important to see the new setting.
true. I mean, not the same thing, but just having some fun and interesting game modes, especially now that they don't have. Well, we don't know if they don't have, but the rumors are like they don't have any single player mode in the game. Would you miss a single player mode?
Um, if it's a new game and it's not tied to Bad Company, no. I
Oh,
think
fair, fair.
the only creative single player modes they've had is either Bad Company or um, some of the war stories between Battlefield 1 and 5. Some of the war stories were crap, but at least bare minimum, over half of them were fun to play.
I
Um,
mean, I definitely remember the runner. That was the war story in Battlefield
oh
One,
God, yeah,
where
that
with
was a
the
good one.
Australian one, like, not gonna lie, I was tearing up by the end of it. I was like, oh man,
Yeah,
oh,
that and the tank one in Battlefield 1 was really good.
they had some good ones, yeah.
Yeah, but for like Battlefield 3 and 4, completely forgettable.
I have played, I think, Battlefield 4, the single player at one point when I
Yeah.
could, and I was like, I cannot even remember anymore. Something with terrorist and coup and I don't know, something. Battlefield BR.
3 or
Well,
4.
yeah, I think they're both very similar.
They're both, yeah.
Well, Battlefield BR. I think Battlefield would probably get something similar to, because someone in chat is just asking like, "Hey, Battlefield BR." Well, they had
Oh yeah.
Firestorm in Battlefield 5. I think that's dead. I think nobody is playing
Yeah.
that anymore.
Oh yeah. That's gone.
Yeah. And but there was
I,
also, yeah. So go on.
oh no, I was just gonna say I think they lean real heavy into that sort of war zone mentality, and I think we probably won't see Battle Royale on launch for a while, and I think it will launch independent,
Yeah.
hopefully completely independent. We don't have to download the whole thing, like some games make you do. Um,
I don't know
so
what you
hopefully it's
mean.
free to play and independent, because that would be a extremely good advertising tool. And then everyone at this point realizes a successful battle royale by itself can make a disgusting amount of money just on visuals, but it would also drive um, a decently large enough player base or new player base into the Battlefield franchise as well.
Yep. I mean, you
So
could see it at
it's a major
Warzone
problem.
right
Oh
now.
God, yeah.
Warzone is just absolutely crazy in that regard, where they're like even incorporating like new season in Cold War with Warzone, and things are changing in Warzone
Yeah.
respectively on what happening is in Cold Zone. Like the thing they managed from a gameplay perspective in Warzone, even though right now it's drowning in cheaters, it's kind of impressive. Speaking of cheaters, you know, I know I have said this maybe for a decade now, but what I really want and what I hope they are actually stealing from Call of Duty, kill cams. Give me kill cams, goddammit. I had so many moments where I was like, stop, stop, pause there. I I want to see the replay on this. Not because I don't trust that the person just pulled this off. I'm not saying that the person is a cheater, but I just want to see what happened there. I want to learn from this. And the game is like,
Yeah.
no, no, you're dead. Like, why do you
Yeah,
care?
I think they're less embarrassed about a lot of people just seeing cheaters as more so as they're embarrassed about people seeing how god awful their netcode is. The amount of times you'll get corner banged or worse. It's just it's outstanding.
Well, in Battlefield 1, I have to say it's not bad, really.
Yeah, the
It's,
netcode of Battlefield One, the launch for Battlefield One might be the best modern Battlefield, no, modern in how
yeah, I know
late
what
it's
you
come
mean.
out, not literally the timeline, but um, the launch for that was outstanding. There was really not any major issue with it, and it had a lot more people than most people or most other launches of Battlefield 2. Um, so the netcode for that was pretty well outstanding. Obviously, Battlefield 4 was a meme. Battlefield 3 wasn't great, and Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 5 was maybe okay,
It was okay, I think.
maybe
But what I remember
just
from
okay.
it, the problem they just had with, well, why you say maybe is you couldn't really like fully understand what was going on because they screwed up the time to kill and time to die so often that you sometimes didn't
Correct.
know, was this the netcode who just killed me, or was this like another patch they just pushed out today where they completely screwed up the time to kill and time to die again. It's
It
like,
was a mess. Yeah, they changed it. I think they minorly changed it, and they really wouldn't tell you too much about the patch notes, just made it worse. They just say, "Hey, we're changing it," and it's like, okay, what does that mean
yeah,
in depth, please? And that's another thing that more and more developers are doing that I hate is that they're not readily sharing advanced data with a lot of these third-party websites that take this data, just make it into a visual format that people can understand. A lot of these statistics tracking websites that we've used for years, they can't draw this data anymore because they're just not it's not being shared. So when a new patch comes out, we don't know exactly what's changed for a while until these people are able to play it for a long enough time, which is just ridiculous.
yeah. I, funny
So
enough, I talked about this today. We took a deep dive on the new Evil Genius 2 patch notes, and there was exactly that. Like, we have significantly improved the performance of items you can put into your base.
right,
What does that mean?
it's significantly improved, of course.
What? I mean, yeah, I understand that they were not great, and a lot of people didn't use those vanity items because of that, but what does
Yeah.
that mean? It's like, oh, well, like another thing of Evil Genius 2, which I never understood. Like every item, to give a quick overview, every item in the game is creating heat. And when an enemy agent is going into your lair and is scanning the item, they will get evidence against you. So you're trying to, of course, hide the items with a lot of heat deeper down in the base so agents do not find them. Pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, the developer decided, not anymore, they fixed that finally after 3 months of the launch, but they decided not to give you the information how much an item actually creates heat. You didn't know? You just had to wait, you had to click on the agent, you had to follow the agent around, and you have to see how much heat he would get, how much evidence he would get by like taking a photograph of the item. I was like, well, why are you not giving us that information?
That's outstanding.
It's like such a crucial thing. Why do I not get that? Was bewildering. Now they are showcasing it, thankfully, but that was weird. So
The
Battlefield,
henchman with a thermometer.
yeah, it's like, oh yeah, seeing this here sometimes. They implemented this feature in Battlefield 5, and I wonder what you think about it. Reviving as every character. Yay or nay?
For the squad, I love it. I hope they keep it that way. Uh, it's it's difficult because it's longer to do. And they could possibly make it even longer. It depends on how they do the whole revive mechanic. If it's going to be
Yeah.
an instantaneous revive, full health, instantaneous revive for partial health, etc. They've done it different ways, different battlefields. Um, I think there is a better way. Like if for the medic, if they want to give them a quicker revive with partial health, I think that would help. But they could probably do a better job in um, separating how long that takes between the two to make sure that people really want to play the medic class. Um, because healings are good and all, but reviving is the core mechanic you want. And if everyone can do it, why play medic? So they've got to make that the disparity between the two big enough to where people really are incentivized to play the medic enough.
I think that was one of the problems I saw a little bit with Battlefield 5 at the point that I sometimes had the feeling that medics got shafted relatively hard in that game. Not just like the weapons, right? That was a completely mess. Like they were like the weakest weapons in the game, and people were just like, why do I even have a weapon? I could have also punched people in the face and would do probably the same thing. Then also they nerfed the healing quite a, like the healing crates. Like the healing crates were not AoE healing anymore, but like pick your healing pouch from it. So nobody is actually using that anymore, I think. Like every medic is just running around with the small healing pouches and is throwing that at the people. And then, as you said, the next problem was that a lot of people could just revive each other. So I felt like that the medic, which hurts me quite a bit, was not a great class in 5.
Yeah, they could have done a lot more to incentivize it, and it helps when if you're doing like the tactical conquest where it's more close quarters. The SMGs are better, and you do want more of that healing because you're all going to be in a confined space. I think they probably could have kept the health boxes AOE. I do kind of like the ammo being pickup only. You throw an ammo box down, you still got to run up and pick it up. Though they probably could incentivize that more as well. The disparity between an ammo pouch and an ammo crate. You do still get heavy ammo out of that. Some of your good stuff, but you get like one, and I don't think you get grenades. So if I got to run over to a physical box, I at least want a damn grenade and maybe 2 ammo. Just don't refill the whole thing. Just enough.
I think that's the same thing we mentioned with. Oh, sorry if I interrupted you.
Oh no, you're good.
What I wanted to say is in Battlefield 1, and people hate that weapon, I love it actually, was the mortar they introduced.
Oh yeah,
But I think the
yeah,
biggest problem, I said it before, like what they could to make the mortar so much more balanced was let it like be gone. Like if you use the mortar, then you cannot refresh the mortar anymore. Like that's it. But because of the mortar just being like self regenerating, I can see why some people got really annoyed by the mortar.
yeah. That was an odd direction, and I didn't think it was that bad because you physically had to be on the mortar. I think that's one of the gadgets that people kind of forget about in Battlefield 4, especially in some of the uh, more close quarters maps. Operation Locker, one sniper and one good mortar player could lock down the entire outside lane, and the support player could literally be across the map using the mortar because you did not have to be at the same place as the mortar. So it could be far worse. It was odd that they did let that be an automatic supply kind of thing, almost like kind of like a gadget rather than an ammo capacity of just having one per life.
Yeah.
But I didn't think the mortar was particularly overpowered. I think that was more a condition of the every single explosive in Battlefield 1 being comically good.
Yeah, that's true.
The AoE, and it's the difference between that and Battlefield 5 are night and day, as is a lot of things between the two games. But you would think with the higher time to kill somebody in Battlefield 1 versus 5, like they're as far apart as could be, that explosives would be better in Battlefield 5 than 1, but it's somehow the complete opposite.
Yeah.
It's quicker to kill somebody in Battlefield 5, but if you have explosives, they do a lot more damage across an area of effect in Battlefield 1 than they do in 5. It's kind of weird. So anything explosive based in Battlefield 1 was just ridiculous between the
I,
dynamite, the grenades, the mortar, the vehicles, etc.
I mean, how bad, well, really bad actually, the explosives in Battlefield 5 were was when you could call in the V1 rocket. And it's like, oh, there's a V1 rocket coming in. Oh, okay, whatever. It's like, what? It's a V1 rocket, not a V2. Okay, difference. But damn, those things had like explosions. And even in Battlefield 5, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, for the first week they were threatening, and then people were just like, "I'll just step over here, that'd be cool."
Like you just had to look up, follow the trajectory, and then you were like, no, no, just
Yeah.
2 meters to the right, and we're good. Okay, cool. Unfortunately. Oh, speaking of tanks and stuff and explosions. So you as a main tank driver, Mr. Tank Lemons, one of the biggest changes, and we haven't really talked about that, they did with Battlefield 1 or Battlefield in general, and then with Battlefield 5, was actually the implementation of ammunition for vehicles. Yay or nay?
Um, I I ended up didn't really minding that. It keeps some tanks from camping too much. I don't think you see too many camping tanks in Battlefield 5. It still happens from time to time, but it's a bit of a rarity. And I don't think it was that hard to find ammo. And the places they put ammo obviously was just right on the objectives. So again, it's the idea of Battlefield 5 was that whole attrition process was supposed to funnel you into the objectives, um, which I think kind of ruins the experience because the whole experience is trying to like find your own route to get from A to B. But at the end of the day, that's more of like a core Battlefield mentality. Whereas like they had so many new players in like Battlefield 1, I think they might have had an issue of like making sure that like the players are going from where like where the developer wants them to be to where they need to be. I think they were having an issue with that, maybe. So they were trying to make it as clear as they possibly could. Like you need to go here, and we're going to force you there.
Yeah.
Is what they kind of do with the attrition program, and I don't think I hated it. I think might be different for the area vehicles. I didn't spend too much time in Battlefield 5 and the planes, but I don't think it was even that big of an issue for them either. But for tanks, especially, it was a bit annoying if they were destroyed and you were just sitting there waiting for like a blueberry to repair your station so you could rearm, but there's 10 of them just run right by it, and then you're just kind of stuck there twiddling your thumbs. Then you got to hop out of your tank and do it and hope no one steals your tank. It's always a fun time. But besides that, I think it's a pretty pretty good process.
Yeah. All right. That's fair. One last thing. I think then we can slowly but surely call it till tomorrow. But there is one interesting thing, and this is already what we basically know. Like, they have hinted at it multiple times. Then, of course, it was leaked and then mentioned here and there. So, like, what is... So the point is that the new Battlefield will be bigger than ever, and we will probably have 120 players on the map. This is, of course, a tough...
128.
128? Yeah, you're right.
I think so, yeah.
You're right. So the point is, I am really curious if that will make the rounds. If that is like a thing people actually want, because I remember, especially in Battlefield 4 or even like in Bad Company, when I played still with my friends those games, they hated the 64 servers, and they always did go for the 42 because they found that the 64 ones were far too crowded and you got shot like just out of every angle. Do you think that the 128s will become the norm? Like, people will actually adapt it? Or do you think that people want to go back to the 60 servers?
I think as long as they keep it new generation and PC, that they're going to make all of these maps for that size, which is going to be a 64 on 64. And if they make the horrible decision of making it playable on old consoles, they're gonna be stuck between a rock and a hard place.
No, they like, we don't know the details, but there were already like a lot of people who said like no. Like, apparently the old console players will get a very different experience from the new Battlefield.
Correct, and that's just what I'm saying. It's difficult if they have to split their time until we see that come out. I would love for it. I don't even own the new console, and that's literally what I would buy the new console for, is for Battlefield 6 and probably Madden. The only literal two games I play on that thing. And then it's a glorified Netflix machine. But besides that, it's just Battlefield. Otherwise, I think, yeah, they'll be stuck where they're making maps that are not large enough with enough life. Because we might be stuck in a situation where the maps are large enough to where they're like Al Saddun, where 30% of the map is just barren wasteland with nothing going on. Just to say, hey, it's bigger. We can fit people here.
Yeah.
So hopefully we have large maps that have a lot of objectives to go to, a lot of ways to get from different sections of the match very quickly. That way, it's not just immediately everyone to the center flag, and then it just turns into a giant bloodbath in the middle of the map. It'll be the same thing with the modes, because traditionally they've made every map with one particular mode in mind, and then they'll take
Yeah,
that map and then cut it into pieces for other modes. Um,
true.
Hopefully they either do a better job at that, or they just do away with that entirely. But we'll see.
No, that would be great. One last thing I also like saw in Battlefield 1 is what was it? Damn it. I had it in my mind for a second and then it slipped away. Um oh yeah. Not just Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5 as well. Unlocks. Can we just go back to the usual, you reach a level, you get a weapon unlocked? Can we please go back to that? Not like Battlefield 1 where you had to get the war bonds first and then with the expansions you had to do like stupid dance modes where you had to shoot somebody doing a 360 no scope by watching a Snoop Dogg video or something like that. I hated that. And then with Battlefield 5 with those weekly events where you also had to do a lot of bullshit nobody wanted to do just to unlock that particular weapon, and if you don't manage that in a week, well, yeah, good luck for getting that weapon. Oh, can we just do the old thing again? Level up.
I think we're stuck. We're stuck with the credit system forever and at this point. But yeah, I'm done with the sort of quests that they've added into shooters to where like you have to do it A, B, and C to get this unlock. If they want to do it for visuals, why not? But
Yeah.
for actual guns or unlocks, just make it experience and then some arbitrary credit that we'll have way too much of anyway.
I mean, they did that with Battlefield 1 with the war bonds, and that was okay. Yeah. I actually found that was okay because you were just collecting war bonds, and then you could decide for yourself for what weapon you want to use it. But then, as I said,
correct. But we also had,
with the DLCs, they were just like, nope, don't do that anymore.
No, Battlefield 1 still had the comical amount of, what do they call them? The loot boxes, more or less. What were they called?
The loot crates.
Blue crates.
Or crates,
like 5,000 of them.
Oh, yeah. There was like the first hooray of EA into the surprise mechanics, as I love to call it. And they totally didn't understand how it works. So they basically were just towering all those crates on you. And you were like, what am I supposed to do with those? Like, I'm actually starting to burn weapon skins because I have already 20 of those. Like, what?
Correct.
And then the game was like, you found a legendary weapon skin. Oh yeah, put it on a pile over there. Put it on the pile.
Add it to my collection.
It's like, ow.
Thankfully, Battlefront 2 did so horrifically bad on that front that I don't think we have to worry about that again.
No.
Thankfully.
I mean, we have to thank Disney for that because, like, what we have heard, it's like really just Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, had to call EA and was like, A, what the hell are you doing? B, explain to me what loot boxes are, please. Like, why are people angry at Star Wars for your game? That was apparently the question he asked.
Yeah. I love executives trying to explain what a loot box is without it, like, absolutely sounding like gambling. It's hilarious.
Well, first of all, we are not calling them loot boxes, Mr. Lemons. They are surprise mechanics. I just want to make that clear for the record.
That was my favorite. That term, my God. To say that with a straight face, just like, what? What?
It's like really about framing and terminology, right? It's like how we can frame this horrific thing more and more people realize is completely bullshit and predatory. How can we still make this pile of turd look kind of shiny?
Fantastic.
It's that was. But again, like, good that it happened. glad that Disney was like, what the heck? Fortunately, then EA decided just to go for it on all their sports games, especially
Yeah.
FIFA. Yay. And yeah, we'll see. Like, I'm so curious if they will really go back to the live service again with Battlefield, like the new one. I don't.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Though I think at this point they know their backs against the wall. So if they do go live service, hopefully they know that do or die, they have to make it work.
Yeah,
Whereas at Battlefield 5, they were just so uncommittal. They were like, uh, fuck it.
I think Battlefield 1 was actually already a live service game, but they didn't know really what that was. I can just envision how some suits came in the last month of development of Battlefield 1, and they were just like, hey, folks, my nephew, he plays a lot of Fortnite. My nephew was telling me about this live service he loves so much. I don't really know what that is. Can we put that in? That sounds like a lot of money. Can we put that in? And then we were like, we are shipping this game in a month. Yeah, just put it in somehow. And that's what we got in Battlefield 1 with the loot crates and where we got so many of them. And then they tried to pull that off a little bit more in Battlefield 5. But we're given up very quickly after the player numbers were not there where they wanted it to be. Just
Right.
I think it's a general problem with live service games. I've said this for years now, that everyone wants to do live service games because they see the money on the table, but like when they're getting told that they also have to put some commitment into this, even if it doesn't work out very well, a lot of publishers are like, whoa, what do you mean commitment? What do you mean I have to
Yeah.
do something for this? I thought it's just free real estate here at this point. What?
You didn't say we have to invest.
Yeah. It's like, interestingly enough, some of the most successful live service games are the ones which have failed the hardest at the beginning. And
Oh, yeah.
they took years, like Rainbow Six Siege. I know everyone is like, oh my god, Rainbow Six Siege, have you seen how amazing it is? Have you seen how much money it makes now? Yeah, have you seen Rainbow Six Siege in the first year? Like, there was
I think
some Battlefield level of bullshit.
I think the funniest thing was I played the most amount of Rainbow Six Siege in the first 2 seasons, and then I quit.
I applaud that. I
It's
applaud
funny.
that. Well, it's like Sea of Thieves. People are coming to Sea of Thieves and they're like, oh my god, Sea of Thieves is so amazing. Yeah, have you seen like the first year of Sea of Thieves? I mean, it wasn't even a game.
Yeah,
Like, literally. There was nothing there to do, really. Now it's great. But,
it's like a literal sandbox. You just play with sand.
yes, literally. Like, that's a pretty good description. But it's like, yeah, this is what sometimes publishers especially don't seem to understand. Like, if you commit to a live service game, that's all fine. But you have to be aware of what that means for your commitment and how long it can take and how much you might lose at the beginning, or there is even a chance that you might never get that money back, worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And I think a good amount of publishers have not realized that yet, that is the case.
Unfortunately,
Yeah. So
they're getting there.
yeah. Oh well. But folks, I think we are, if you don't have like a important thing you want to notice, I think we'll wrap it up and prepare.
I think I'm good to go. I am, prepared for tomorrow.
Oh god, tomorrow, man. 10 a.m. ET. I am so sorry for all my American friends. Like, you got shafted this time. This is, by the way, this is just how we feel with every announcement and every release here in Europe. Just so that you are
Yeah,
getting
typically.
that you are getting a feel for that. That's how it
That's
feels.
fair.
Once in a lifetime, you have to feel that. No, like we will watch it live. We will comment whatever we will see. We will comment on it live, and I hope it will be great. Because I played Battlefield 1 again. Don't get me wrong. I got reminded again why I actually love Battlefield 1. But I think I have enough. Like, I need more content. And I will not get that in Battlefield 1. So, new
Right.
Battlefield, be fun. What is your last take on the new Battlefield? Anything you want to say?
We've said it a billion times, but it's just all to me. It's all about the destruction. Hopefully, we get lots and lots of destruction that is consistent. It's all I want to need. So hopefully, there is copious amounts of ridiculous destruction in the trailer. We'll
I
love
hope
it.
so. I mean, if the weather effects are really what they might to be, like I just hope that like a tornado or something is just like destroying like everything in the path, like every building, everything is just getting swallowed up. Giggity. So, yeah, we will see. All right, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are prepared and hyped for the Battlefield announcement tomorrow. Well, actually, for me, it's today because it's already 3:18. Holy moly! I have to go to bed. Whew. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it, and then we will be back. Again, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. Bye bye.
Later.